Kejili Ijesha. I am Oluwafunke Israel with Global News. First headline. President Bola Tinubu reaffirms commitment to expand social security coverage for workers nationwide. And Sahel state says neighboring countries supporting terrorism in West Africa. Lebanese Prime Minister accuses Israel of war crimes. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu reaffirms his administration's commitment to workplace risk and uncertainty after retirement to strengthen social protection systems, guarantee dignity and security for citizens. The president made this known at the opening of the International Social Security Association 2026 West African Seminar in Abuja. He said since assuming office in 2023, his government has pursued the renewed hope agenda with focus on restoring opportunity, protecting livelihoods, and rebuilding confidence in the economy. Represented by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, Tinubu disclosed that under the supervision of the National Pension Commission, over 10 million Nigerian workers were actively contributing to the contributory pension scheme, with total pension assets now exceeding 25 trillion naira. He stressed that beyond the huge financial figures, the pension reforms represented renewed trust and confidence among workers. The senators urged the federal government to consider far-reaching emergency measures and the possible suspension of political activities in 8 frontline states as insecurity continues to escalate across parts of the country. The call, which underscores growing concern within the National Assembly over renewed insurgent offenses, followed the point of order raised by the lawmaker representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, during plenary called on federal government to suspend all political activities across the country at the frontline states, which include Borno, Plateau, Bauchi, Benue, Niger, among others. Nigeria's warning comes amid a resurgence of attacks by Boko Haram in the northeast, coordinated assaults on military formation, and fresh threats issued against any forceful rescue attempt of abducted civilians. The upper chamber, in its resolution, called on the federal government to intensify efforts to secure the release of 416 women, children, and elderly persons reportedly held captive by insurgents in Borno State since March 30th. Away from Nigeria, a widening diplomatic rift is emerging in West Africa as Niger and Mali level new accusations against neighboring states over terrorism in the Sahel. Speaking at a security forum in Senegal, Mali's Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop said some neighboring states abhor and support armed groups' activities in the Sahel. Foreign powers outside the region are also reported to be involved. Niger's Foreign Minister Bakri Yo Sangari echoed similar claims that some nations cooperating on counterterrorism are fueling and sustaining the violence. The accusation comes as Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso continue to distance themselves from the West African Regional Bloc Economic Community of West African States after they formed an alliance following military coups. All three countries have faced years of jihadist violence across the Central Sahel. Despite the sharp rhetoric, Mali's Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop said limited cooperation with ECOWAS is still possible. Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Cindy Siwe-Chinkuga, said women across Africa must experience justice as a lived reality, not only as a constitutional promise. While speaking to the media in Santon, Johannesburg, on the sidelines of the second high-level meeting of women judicial leaders of Africa, where judges and policymakers hold talks on gender equality in the courts, Chikunga says women judges have a critical role in ensuring court decisions protect women from violence and make justice meaningful in their daily lives. South African Chief Justice Mandisa Maya has also urged countries across Africa to appoint more women to senior positions in the justice system. She hoped that this will strengthen the continent's troubled constitutional institutions. You are listening to Vicinity 95.3 FM. Ikejile Ijesha. Global News will continue shortly.
Sports. In towards Lukaku. Entertainment. Politics. All on your darling station, Vicinity 95.3 FM. Ikejile Ijesha.
Thanks for staying tuned for news, updates, and live streaming. Visit our website at vicinity953fm.com.ng. You can also provide us information via email at vicinitynewsroom@gmail.com or call 070-6108-3107. Now the rest of the news. Lebanon's prime minister has accused Israel of war crimes after Israeli airstrikes killed a Lebanese journalist, Zainab Faraj, and wounded another in southern Lebanon. Officials in Lebanon said they were deliberately targeted as they sought shelter in home after an initial airstrike hit the vehicle in front of them, killing 2 men. The officials also accused the Israeli Defense Forces of intentionally targeting a marked ambulance as it tried to reach the journalist in the village of Tari. However, the Israel Defense Forces denied the allegations that it prevented rescue teams nor its targets on journalists. Iran's vow not to reopen the Strait of Hormuz so long as the U.S. naval blockade remain in place despite a ceasefire extension, as the Gulf nation announced the seizure of 2 ships trying to cross the strategic waterway. U.S. Central Command said late on Wednesday that it had also directed 31 vessels to turn around or return to port as part of its own blockade against Iran. As the clock ticks for a return to the war that has engulfed the region, U.S. President Donald Trump said he would maintain the truce to allow more time for Pakistani brokered peace talks. On the orders from Trump, the U.S. Navy is attempting to block vessels heading to or from Iranian ports, seeking to ramp up pressure on the Iranian economy even without all-out war. A bit of sports. State Minister of Youth and Sport, Mid Amlu Azek, has extended a heartfelt congratulations to all players, coaches, and officials of the Bangladesh women's Kabaddi team for their victory over Thailand in Asian Beach Kabaddi 2026. Kabaddi is a high-intensity contact team sport originating from ancient India, involving 2 teams of 7 players. In a congratulatory message, the state minister said the victory is a reflection of the girls' indomitable courage, hard work, and fighting mentality. Amil said every raid and tackle of the players has proven that the country's women are ready to face any challenge in the field of sport. He expressed strong optimism that the victory will encourage thousands of young women in the country to play Kabaddi and pave the way for greater success in the future. Turned global news, another look at the major stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to protecting Nigerian workers from economic hardship, workplace risk, and uncertainty to strengthen social protection systems and secure the life of its citizens. We told you that Niger and Mali levied new accusation against neighboring states over terrorism in the Sahel region. And lastly, he heard Lebanon's prime minister has accused Israel of war crimes after Israeli airstrikes killed Lebanese journalist Zainab Faraj and wounded another in southern Lebanon. And before we go, the last line: don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going. That was Global News. It was edited by Uyidayo Fulonsho. I am Oluwafunke Israel. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for news nationwide at 6 o'clock. Good afternoon.